Hello, everybody. Ella J here for a Wrestling Gal, and today I am once again joined by the Hellion, Ava Lawless. How are you today?
I'm good. How you doing?
I am so good to catch up with you, my friend. It has been far too long since the last time we chatted. I was looking back. It's been about 2.5 years since the last
Right.
time we chatted, and so much has changed for you, my friend. You have
Yeah.
just exploded in the best way possible. You're getting better and better each year. So I'm so excited to catch up with you today. Obviously, we'll talk wrestling, we'll talk some music. I saw you got to meet some of your musical heroes. We'll talk about
Yeah.
those. But before we get into recent stuff, I want to look ahead for a minute. Because at the time of recording this weekend is a big opportunity for you coming up at Winnipeg Pro Wrestling, where you will be taking part in Winnipeg Pro Wrestling's Voyageur Cup event on March 13th and 14th. You are no stranger to the woman you are facing in the quarterfinals, that being Allie Ketch. You've beaten her before for the vacant WPW Women's title, but this is for the tournament. So I have to ask. I know you have some beef with Alley Catch. That might be an understatement. But what are your thoughts heading into this quarterfinals bout against Alley Catch?
Yeah, I think I got beef with everybody
That's
in the
true.
women's locker room at WPW because at the end of the day, I just want that belt back. And I know Mercedes took it from Jody, but Jody took it from me. And so I feel like it rightfully belongs to me. So if Alley catches like one of the obstacles in my way, I'm sorry, boo, but I'm just have to plow right through her because I want that belt back desperately, desperately.
I do have to say, WPW might be the place where we've seen the more cutting edge, more lawless nature to your name. I like seeing that hellfire that you bring there,
I
and
know. Yeah.
obviously, we'll hope to see it continue. I think, from what I understand, too, this is the first ever Women's Voyager Cup. I know
Hmm.
it's like I think I want to see the third one for the men or
Yeah.
something like that, but I think it's big strides. So, I mean, I know you want to beat everybody, but what does it mean for you to be part of this first in the company that's, I feel like, kind of become a second home to you in a way?
Yeah, it's funny because like someone called me like a local wrestler there, even though I'm from Calgary, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm there pretty often, so that makes
Hmm.
sense. And like the kudos I have to give to them is they really stress the importance of their women's division, and whether it's like one match on the card or two, they have no qualms about bringing in women and making sure they get showcased. So for me, I'm like, I want to win everything, like the cup, the belt, you name it, I want it. And yeah, I mean, I will do anything it takes to get there. So maybe it means breaking a few rules. Maybe. We'll see.
See, the field is fierce. You mentioned Jody Threat was one. We've got Kingsley, Shayna Baszler, Gigi Ray, Danny Leo, and Kristara are also in this tournament. And the winner, of course, like you alluded to, will be challenging Mercedes Monet for the WPW Women's title at the end of the month, March 31st. I
Yeah.
believe at Fight at the Museum. I'm looking forward to that. What would it mean for you? You've already held the title. But what would it
Hmm.
mean for you to face Mercedes Monet for the title?
Ooh, I feel like, I mean, let's be real. I feel like every women's wrestler wants to wrestle her. I
Yeah.
think there's so much to learn. I think it's a giant opportunity. And I feel like I've proven myself these past couple of years at WPW. So really the next level is to take on the best in the world.
And I do have to say, you were instrumental in Mercedes winning the title back in October when you maybe blasted Jody Threat with some beer, and then she hit the moneymaker. So in a
Yeah.
way, I think Mercedes kind of owes you a match.
Yeah, I think she used my services and I think it's only fair to like come back around.
Yeah.
So that's what I tell myself.
Well, I do have to ask, you mentioned it. Mercedes has been on a run throughout the entire indie scene over the last year plus, collecting belts. She's losing belts. But that's just how it goes. But what are your thoughts in general on Mercedes' run across the indies and collecting belts, one of which you've held before yourself?
No. Oh, God, that was mine. Um, Something that I think is a huge testament to her is she doesn't have to be doing this. Like she does
Yeah.
not have to be slugging it out on the indies with the rest of us, you know? Like she could be sitting pretty at AEW and like doing the thing, but she wants to. She's on that grind. She's traveling all over the world. Like one weekend she's in Poland, the next she's in Canada. So like
Mhm.
this girl, she's getting those miles in and she has been for a really long time. So I think it's just a testament to how much she loves this business and how much she's giving back to this business. And I really feel like that's such a model to look up to. That being said, I will want that belt back. So I respect her, but she has something I want. So, you know.
Well, first, you do have to get through, I guess not one, not two, but three matches to get to
Yeah.
Mercedes. But,
Yeah.
the odds have been stacked against you before,
Hmm.
and you've won. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a bit biased. I'm rooting for you girls. Don't tell anyone else.
Oh, well,
But
yeah.
I would
Well,
love to see Ava Lawless, Hell Hath No Fury versus I don't know what Mercedes's mental state is right now because she just lost the Bestia and the CMLL title. So maybe this would be a prime opportunity
yeah.
to unseat her. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and I think when I look at that competition, there's several girls I've wrestled
Mhm.
before. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I know what you're like in the ring.
Mhm.
I know what you bring to the ring. There's a few that I haven't before, so they're question marks for me. But if I take my tribal knowledge and I apply it, I feel like maybe I got something brewing here. So we'll see what this weekend brings.
Yeah, but you mentioned the indie scene, and we've seen Zoe Sager, fellow Canadian, an old rival of yours, rock it in the WWE ID
Hmm.
program. She was one of the first women and probably the first Canadian announced the program too, from what I recall. What was that
Yeah.
reaction like across the Canadian scene, not only for Zoe's recruitment, but also what it might mean for a scene that maybe isn't given as much of a spotlight as it deserves?
Yeah, I think it was a surprise because I think a lot of people thought maybe the program was just for Americans.
Yeah.
So I think it just opened up doors in that sense. I think it made people be like, oh, wait, like, could this happen for me? And the thing about Canadian wrestling is there is so much untapped talent out here.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many talented wrestlers that don't even get a sliver of the attention that I feel like they deserve out here. So I'm hoping that continues to open the doors for Canadian talent.
I think you recently surpassed your 6 year anniversary of your debut. It was December 2019. So congratulations on that.
Woohoo, thanks.
You're in year 7 now. You mentioned untapped potential. Who are some rising competitors on the Canadian indie scene that you think people should be taking more notice of?
Mm. I mean, I've wrestled them, but I'm still gonna say them.
Yeah.
But I truly love Kristara, even
Yeah.
though I love beating her up even more. Um, but she brings like this fire and this energy and this like you can relate to her.
Yeah.
And I find that she's not afraid of like whipping out some surprises, which I think the crowd would like. So I really feel like all eyes on her is a really good idea. Um, Aurora Tevez is also another Ontario girly. I don't know, they're building them different out in Ontario. Oh no, Kristara's Montreal, but
Yeah.
close enough, 2 hours. But yeah, Aurora, she's wrestling in WoW. She's all
She's
over
been in the
and
UK, I've seen.
yeah,
Yeah.
she really is fun and entertaining, and I think both those women definitely deserve some eyes on them.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, it is Women's History Month. The time of recording this, it is the day after International Women's Day. So, in that spirit, who are some women personally and professionally that inspire or empower
Oh,
you?
that's so sweet. Um, I always say personally is my Nona. I
Yeah.
mean, she raised me on wrestling. She was an ox, like just so strong. And we lost her last year, and she made it to like 104. And I'm like,
Wow.
the
You
girl
go,
lived a
badass
life.
woman.
Yeah, she lived her life, and
Mhm.
the world changed so much for her in 104 years. So I will always personally say her. And professionally, my idols have always been Lita and China. So I will always give them kudos for making me believe that I can do this and be badass while doing it. So yeah, that hasn't changed.
We'll get to this in a minute, but I know you were in Vegas last year for WrestleMania. Were you able to meet Lita last year at all, or like ever? No, not yet.
I've
Oh, we
I've yeah, I've met her prior to
okay.
wrestling. She was cool as hell, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but not since wrestling. Yeah.
I feel like that's a story, you know?
I
We gotta
know.
make that happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I know. Writing's on the wall. It's gonna happen. It's
yeah,
gonna happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of powerful women, you've said that your match with Miyu Yamashita at Top Talent really helped you learn more about yourself. So I'm curious, what exactly did you learn from that experience, whether about yourself or about wrestling?
Yeah, if I'm very honest with you, going into that match, I had a few doubters, a few people that probably felt like I couldn't hang. And I think in my mind, I was like, well, can I hang? Can I do this? Like, God, this is such a huge opportunity. And like, I'm gonna have to pull out all the stops, And I think in wrestling, that inner saboteur is, pretty prevalent sometimes. And I remember when I was driving there in our carload, I was just like hyping myself up mentally because I was like, I got this. I can do it. If there's ever an opportunity to shine, it's now. And going into that, she was incredible. Like, she was one of those opponents where after we were done, I was like, I want to do that again. What
Yeah.
else can we do? Can we give a best of seven? Because I felt like we really complemented each other, and I felt like she brought out my best. And I really proved a lot. I think when I say I had like naysayers and whatnot, you're thinking, oh, I proved it to them. But at the end of the day, I feel like I proved it to myself the most, which I think is the most important thing. So when I came out of that, I was like, damn, I did it. And you know what? I want to do it again and 10 times over. So yeah, I think it was a lot for my own, I guess, my own security and my own reassurance to myself is just that I can do this and I have been doing it and I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
doing it.
In I feel like you mentioned it, we're all our own worst enemies in whatever you're doing, I feel like you're your own worst enemy, biggest critic.
Mhm.
What do you do in those moments? Obviously that was a big confidence booster, but I'm sure, it's not always you're not always gonna be on the top of your mental game. What do you do in
Mhm.
those moments where you're maybe doubting yourself or you're trying to get yourself back to where maybe you were feeling after that Miu match?
Yeah. I think wrestling is so known for being like a hills and valleys type of
Yeah.
industry. Like your highs are high and your lows are low. And, half the battle, of course, is the in-ring ability, but the other half is the mental capacity to like push through these moments. And when I reach those lows, I always remember why I got into this in the first place, which is like I was that little girl watching Raw's War, seeing Lita, like that's who it's for. And I also think to like I feel like I've built like really strong relationships with the audiences that I see, especially when I'm nice. And I think of those people and I'm like, well, what do they want to see from me? And like what do they expect out of me? And I think sometimes it's not about me. Sometimes it's about, that person who paid the ticket, what do they want to see and what will make them go home happy or go home talking about the evening? Like how can I change their perspective? And I think that's helped me kind of push past through any kind of like negativity is like it's not about me at the end of the day,
Yeah.
So it's about the story and it's about the people. So I try to focus on that the most.
Feel like that's the beauty of wrestling too. It's not
Yeah.
just a sport. There's those layers and those emotions. I'm sure that was part of the reason why you got introduced to it and hooked on it in the Attitude Era in the first place was those stories,
Mhm.
those characters, and whether you're a good guy, bad guy, you're
Yeah.
somebody looks up to you. Somebody loves the
Mhm.
bad guys. You know,
Yeah.
so I feel like it's passing it forward. Like I'm curious. When you were, I know you had gotten into it very young. The Attitude
Hmm.
Era. But if you look back
Oh
to a
yeah.
younger Ava, was it always wrestling, or did you ever envision yourself doing something else when you grew up?
Yeah, I think when I was younger, I wanted to be a vet.
Okay.
Like just because I loved animals, but then like the like the terrible sad side of being a vet, I could never do.
Oh
Never.
yeah, like yeah,
So like I think I always was like, oh, like I'll grow up and be something, but I wish I could be a wrestler. And I never like truly considered it until one day I was just like, why am I not doing this? So, and then yeah, the rest is history from there. If anything, I regret not starting sooner, but at the same time, it's like you got to believe that you started when you did for a reason and everything's lined up that way for a reason. So I can't change it and I wouldn't change it.
You were in
So,
your younger 20s, right, when you started training, or am
yeah,
I? Yeah.
yeah. So, but people these days start at 13. Yeah,
That's
so
so true.
like damn. Yeah. So,
Everybody's journey is their own. If there's anything, I feel like if you want to go like mainstream wise, Charlotte Flair, like I don't think started training until she was 26.
yeah.
If that means anything, and look where she is now. So like 21, 22, like that's nothing.
Yeah. But
Everybody
if
has
I
their own.
started
Yeah.
then, I mean, I would have been 7 years old. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Some people start really young, it
Yeah,
just depends. But it's everybody's own journey. Um,
exactly.
and we were talking about powerful women, and your journey has led you to where you are now. And last year you got to wrestle in front of former WWE Women's Champion Bayley when you
Hmm.
wrestled Sandra Moon at Big Time Wrestling during WrestleMania week. What was your experience like wrestling Sandra and then your interaction with Bayley?
Yeah. First of all, like I obviously had seen like Sandra's stuff and like had
Yeah.
known of her, and I was really, really excited for that. And the best part is I felt like we had instant chemistry. Like I felt like it just worked, and it was so easy to like work her. It just felt very natural. And I remember like when I was walking back after the match, this guy was like, "Oh, that was a good showing." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. Like you don't know who I am, but thank you, you know?" And I was just like, "Oh, damn." And then she wasn't able to stick around all day, obviously, because
Yeah.
WrestleMania. But she did watch us and she kind of like gave us a few pointers and whatnot after and like let us know her thoughts on it. And I think like that is like such a pinch me moment. Like, of course you're busy during WrestleMania, you're doing all these things. Like, what are the chances? So, that's definitely a moment I don't think could have been planned. It just kind of happened, and I'm so thankful that Sandra and I got that opportunity. And then Sandra went on to retire, so I can't have a best of seven with her.
Has
So
anybody truly ever retired?
that's
No.
true.
So you
That's
never
true.
say never, as they always say.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
but I have to imagine that was a cool moment. And I mean, if you can, or if you can recall, what exactly was her feedback, or what advice did Bailey share with you afterward?
I do recall her being like, how many guys or how many times have you guys wrestled so far, like together? And then we were like, oh no, this is our first time wrestling. And she was like, what? And I remember being like, oh, that's a good sign because it
Yeah.
like there's like a fluidity to us that maybe that we didn't even anticipate. So I remember that. I'm trying to recall the other pieces. There was just like little things about like ring awareness and stuff like that. But I remember that comment being the most prevalent to me because if it came off that we wrestle each other all the time, I think that's a testament to how our chemistry was in the ring.
Yeah, well, hopefully, Sandra, if you're listening, I feel like there's a lot of people, if Sandra was on the rise, everybody has their own reasons. Never say never, though. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we get to see that again. You were in Las Vegas for a few days. Tell us more about your experience in Vegas and WrestleMania weekend in general. We'll talk about it in a minute. So you got to visit the Punk Rock Museum. You got to do a lot of
Yeah.
cool things, it seemed like.
Yeah, it's strange because like I'm not a drinker or a partier, but I love
In Las
Vegas.
Vegas, you are.
I love Vegas. It's just there's something for everyone. Like people even take their families there because there's so much that
Yeah.
kids can do, you know? And I do like to play the slots a little bit.
Did you win anything?
Actually, I won at the airport leaving.
Interesting.
Yeah, everything I put in when I was in Vegas like did nothing for me, and then when I was leaving, I played the slots and I won like 150 bucks, and I was like, okay, bye. So, yeah. But no, I guess the city's always alive. There's always something to do, and the Punk Rock Museum, I was like, that was one of the
Was
things
that?
where, yeah, it was amazing. That was one of the things where I was like, okay, like I'm busy with like all this wrestling stuff, yada yada, but I have to go to the Punk Rock Museum.
That's you.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it was huge and like it was so cool to see like like there was lyrics written on paper that they collected, and then they even went into like certain subgenres that I really loved. And then they had like there's this all women's band called Civet back in like 2008 or something like that.
Mm.
And I'm like, "Oh my God, they even have this." They had like everything that like I loved, and that was just really cool. So I definitely recommend going there if you like even the littlest bit of punk rock. If you like pop punk, it's in there, you know?
Yeah.
There's
I have to
everything.
imagine that you were in heaven in that punk rock museum.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool. It was nice to kind of take like the time to just be a
Yeah.
regular person and go do regular things and not think about wrestling for like an hour. Yeah.
Did you have any I know there's like some differences in like country by country food wise. Did you have any
Mhm.
interesting like food experience that while you were in Vegas?
The only thing I can really say when it comes to like American food and Canadian food is that your portion sizes are like
I've
giant.
heard that several
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I remember I got like a hot chicken sandwich somewhere
Mm.
and this thing was like this. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God." Yeah. And then I remember when I went to Texas and I got like a club sandwich and the club sandwich had two whole chicken breasts on it. And I was like, "What the hell is this?" But I mean, technically you could just keep it and then eat it for dinner too. But yeah, I
Leftovers,
guess
yeah.
just portion sizes at the
Yeah.
end of the day. Yeah.
I've heard that from some people in the UK as well. They're like, your portion sizes are so big. I'm like, well, that
Yeah.
just means you have leftovers
Yeah.
for later. But you were able to attend WrestleMania as well, including John Cena's last WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
How was, I mean, obviously the whole Travis Scott thing aside, what was that like seeing John Cena's last WrestleMania match?
Yeah, I think like some wrestlers don't like to stay for like the big event and whatnot, but I'm like, of course I want to see it. You know,
Yeah,
it's a spectacle. It's huge. Um, I can't believe that I saw John Cena's last match. He's been around in wrestling for basically as long as I've been watching, and it
yeah,
feels if it's definitely sad. Like it's such like a
yeah.
bittersweet thing because obviously he's going out on his own terms. So that is the way everybody wants to go is on their own terms, right?
Mm.
Um, but yeah, when that stadium went dark and it was just his name, and I was like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was definitely surreal, but what was more surreal was that women's triple threat.
I know that opening. Oh my God. And
Oh,
Bianca Belair, God bless her. I mean,
God
she's been
bless.
out for a year. That's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But that match, man, what a great opener.
That might be one of my favorite matches of all time. Like,
Yeah.
period. It was truly phenomenal. Yeah.
Oh,
Unbelievable. Yeah.
hopefully, knock on wood, Bianca Belair, we hope you're okay. Rhea Ripley is now obviously back at WrestleMania. We don't know what Io Sky's doing. I
Hmm.
personally hope we get Io and Asuka. That would be really fun.
Oh, yeah.
But that was a great. I feel like night two. I mean, did you go to both nights or was it just night
Yeah,
two?
I went to both. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you felt the same way, but night two, like I would say like the two-thirds of night two, I feel like just like banger after banger after banger. I feel like
Hmm.
night two is like a breath of fresh air compared to night one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's hard because like they each had their like
Yeah, of
pros, you
course.
know.
Yeah.
But I remember after the women's triple threat, like turning and being like, "How is anything going to top that?"
Right? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's definitely my match of the weekend
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah. And I think the Rollins Punk Roman Reigns match was a really good closer to night one too as well. And
Yeah,
then opening night one with another banger triple threat. Good times.
yeah, yeah.
You've gotten a little bit of taste of the States at Defy. We mentioned you were also wrestling at Grap House, at Big
Hmm.
Time Wrestling in Las Vegas. Can we expect more Ava Lawless in the USA in the future?
Ooh, maybe this spring somewhere.
Mm,
Maybe, maybe. Hmm. You'll have to look and see. Or wait and see, I guess. Yeah.
maybe in a place you were already at. We'll see. Um,
Actually, no.
Oh, okay then. Well, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a new one. We'll have to stay tuned to your social media.
Yes.
Um, but once you do return, who are some competitors that you're eyeing matches with? Who's on your list?
Oh, from the States, I really want to
Yeah.
wrestle Johnny Robbie.
Yeah.
Um, she is incredible. I really want to wrestle Zamaya. Zamaya? Zamaya?
Yeah.
Yes. Um, yeah, she just looks cool as shit.
Right?
And I'm like, this would be really fun. I could already tell I'm a hard hitter, she's a hard hitter. Let's go. So those two women definitely are in my sightlines.
Yeah, well, we'll have to stay tuned. I'm selfishly hoping you maybe pull up near my area or we're in the same place at some time. But we'll see. But
Maybe.
outside of wrestling, you've gotten to meet some awesome music icons. You got to meet kind of your namesake, Blackie Lawless, lead singer
Yes.
and guitarist for heavy metal band W.A.S.P, which we talked about in the past, which is where your nickname comes from. How
hmm
was that experience meeting your long lost dad?
It's so funny. Everyone thinks he's truly my dad. It's so great. And honestly, at this point, I kind of am like, yeah,
Roll with it. Yeah.
that's my dad. And like age-wise, it works out. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
Black, my dad. But that was bizarre because um when I was younger, I had tickets to see Wasp and they canceled their show. And then they just like didn't tour North America for the longest time. And I remember being like, God, I'm never gonna see them. Like
Yeah.
I'm never gonna experience it. And then when they did their anniversary tour, that was the first time I went to Vegas because I was like, I'm seeing them no matter what.
Yeah.
And it was great. But then yeah, he came to Calgary and he played the Palace Theater, which was awesome because I've wrestled in the Palace Theater. So I was like, this
Yeah.
is so bizarre. Like he's
Yeah.
up there with his saw blade gauntlets, and like I've been up there with my saw blade gauntlets. So
Yeah.
that was really cool. Um, he was awesome. He sounded fantastic, like he sounded so good. Um, the live show experience is something that he's always found to be like super important. He wants to give people their money's worth, so
Yeah.
it's definitely an experience. So yeah, it was great. I wish we got longer to talk, but it was very like, go, go, go. But I get it. He had a show to run, so
Did you
you
get
know.
to tell him like my name like is after you, my
I
nickname?
I did, but it was like it was so quick. So I think he was
Ah,
just like, "That's cool," and then it was like,
yeah.
carried on. But
Yeah.
I know like he sat down with Jericho not too long after I had met him, and they
Hmm.
really like went into like music and like things like
Hmm.
that. And I was just like, "Oh man, if only he knew. If
Yeah,
only he
right.
knew. I hope he'd
Yeah.
care." But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, hopefully you get to meet again and I feel like that has to happen. He's literally like a part of your identity, you know?
he's my dad.
He is. I will say you also got to meet Sebastian Bach, the original voice of Skid Row, which you called a
Yes.
bucket list item. So kind of same thing. How was that experience and how did that interaction come about?
I'm actually so excited to talk about this, and I'm so happy you're asking me about this. I mean, obviously, I love talking about wrestling, and I will any
Yeah.
day of the week.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like my lifeblood is probably Skid Row.
Yeah.
So, meeting Sebastian was the best. He was so chill, so down to earth, and something I really love and respect about him is he is like not. He's not too cool to be a fanboy for things that
Yeah.
he loves. So he grew up idolizing Kiss. And when I was talking to him, I brought up being a wrestler, which he thought was like super cool and whatnot. But we circled back to it because I think I mentioned to him that I really wanted to do like a Kiss gear or Kiss outfit or
Yeah.
whatever. And he loves Kiss, so we had like a nice back and forth about that. And then obviously for Halloween, I ended up dressing as Ace Frehley for
Yes.
so that I felt like it's full circle for my conversation with him. But meeting him was just the best. And he took so much time with every single person and
Was
he
this
really
also
cared.
at a concert?
Yes, so he
Okay.
came to Calgary, yeah.
Got it.
Um, and yeah, we got pictures together and he sounded so good. It was one of those concerts where after it was over, I was like, where is he going next? I'm gonna go
Yeah.
because like the high you get from being at a show and it
Yeah.
being good, like it sounds good, the lighting's good, the vibes are
Yeah.
good. Like, yeah, it was incredible. And yeah, I would see him again in a heartbeat. And he was playing so much Skid Row, so I was like, yeah. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. You obviously said he was on your bucket list. Who else is on your bucket list that you want to meet music or like celebrity wise, just in general?
Honestly, one day I would like to meet Axl Rose.
Of
And
course. That has to happen.
I don't know if it ever will. He's pretty elusive, but
Okay.
he like Guns N' Roses is probably, if I had to say on paper, they're probably my favorite band of all time.
Mhm.
And the name Axl Rose has been used too much in wrestling, whether it's Axl or Rose,
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I had to pivot. But Axl Rose is definitely up there. And then like celebrity wise, I don't know, probably Winona Ryder. Yeah. Or Sylvester Stallone. Two very bizarrely opposite people.
Yeah,
Yeah. But those would definitely be my two, I think. Winona, she's just amazing and she's been in
yeah,
so many movies that I love and she kind of had like a punk rock energy growing up and I just love that about her. And then Sloane was Rambo and Rocky, so
yeah.
you can't touch that.
I know. Well, you
Yeah.
mentioned you're also a film aficionado, as you would
Mm.
say. What was the most recent film that you watched?
Oh, the most recent film I actually watched because Robert Redford died recently. So I went
Yeah.
through, God, I watched one of his movies, but I can't remember the name of it. But he was running for office in it. And I remember being like, everyone talks about how hot Robert Redford was. And I was like, kind of get it. Kind of get it. Yeah. Yeah. Very handsome man and like really great acting abilities. And then he ended up being in Captain America, which was really cool. Oh, I watched Phantom of the Opera recently.
Nice.
Yeah, my first time watching it, that was very good. I watched Tombstone because I love Val Kilmer, also very good. And then Josie and the Pussycats, which is just a classic. So yeah.
Hmm. Obviously, we know that you love horror movies, you love watching it. Have you had aspirations to like act at all, whether it's for television or film?
I mean, I was in Dark Match with Chris Jericho and Stephen Hawk, but just
Yeah.
kidding. I was in it for like 2 seconds, so I don't think that really counts. I would love to. Um, But there's this, I think to be an actor, you have to have like this. It's so funny that I'm saying this as a wrestler, but you have to be able to be comfortable being extremely vulnerable because
Yeah.
I feel like the only way you'll get a good performance is if you allow yourself to truly just let
Immerse
go.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I still feel like I'd be like, "Ooh," like,
Yeah.
hello, my name is Ava. But of course, I would love to. I would love to try, and I would especially love to try in horror movies. There's this challenge here in Calgary. It's called like the 48-hour horror movie challenge or something, where you have 48 hours to like write, film, direct, splice a horror movie, and then they present it to everybody at the end. And I've
Mm.
been like, well, that would be kind of fun to do, you know? So maybe we'll see.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned it. This was the first I was hearing of this. You said it was the dark match with Chris
Yeah.
Jericho. Please tell me more about this because now I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's called Dark Match. It was filmed 2 or 3 years ago in
Okay.
Edmonton. And it's about these indie wrestlers who take up a gig and it ends up being a part of a cult following and horror ensues. I was in it and I had some lines, but they were cut, but that's okay because if you watch it, it makes sense why it was cut. But still being a part of it was cool. Like I was on a movie set, I got to see
Yeah.
how things were done. Wrestling and horror, the two things I love the most,
Yeah.
So it was just a really awesome experience and just to be a part of it was really rad. Yeah. And I
Oh.
also helped with some of the stunts, so that was cool. Yeah.
Are you able to tell us what kind of stunt work you did?
I honestly was just I was the bump buddy, so I just took some DDTs and some choke slams
Well, that
and
ain't
yeah,
nothing. You
you
know?
know. This is how you do this, and then I'm
Yeah.
bumping, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I just got to kind of be the body, which was totally fine for me. I was just happy to help in any way. And it was really cool because the actresses like they took it very seriously. They were like, we want to make sure like for the wrestling we get it right, which
Yeah.
I really respected from them. It wasn't just like another job. They were like, no, 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 like let's do this right. So that was cool.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see in the future. Maybe it is more stuff like that. Then you don't have to be as vulnerable, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe stunt work is in your future. I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of wrestlers seem to like pivot kind of towards that, probably because we're not afraid
Yeah.
of falling. you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Well, maybe
So,
Ava Lawless stunt woman in the future. I don't know.
yeah,
Um,
you know?
we'll do that.
Next Charlie's Angels or something? Throw me on a car. Yeah.
That's awesome though that you gotta kind of got to be a part of something that's mixing two of your loves.
Hmm.
Now we just gotta get some music in there somewhere, and then it's really just the trifecta.
That's so true. Yeah. And I have been thinking about it, but we'll see. There's not enough
Mhm.
hours in the day.
Fair, fair
Yeah.
enough. I know. I know going full time is one of your big goals. We'll get to that in a minute, but I've always been curious. I think since I've known you, maybe you just had the dark hair at the time, but obviously your orange hair and that the half and
Mhm.
half has been the staple of your identity for,
Yeah.
gosh, for the longest time. Have you ever considered changing your hair, like at all, like to a different color? Um,
Yes. Um, well, number one, I miss having black hair a lot.
yeah,
So much. It just fit my vibe, of course. Uh, but I also know that in this industry, you got to stand out in ways that you can
yeah,
control, right? And I also get so much feedback on my hair, and especially from little girls. Like,
yeah.
they just think it's the coolest thing in the
It
world.
is.
And to be honest, like, I remember I begged my parents to let me dye my hair red when I obviously was idolizing Lita as a child, and they were
Yeah.
like, no, absolutely not, And of course, those girls, I'm like, oh my God, my hair is cool. Thank you. You know? But I have thought of dyeing it a different color, but I'm just not going to say what it is because if it's an evolution, I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
it to happen,
Mhm.
kind of naturally. But I do have ideas. I've also thought of doing like different types of like orange and yellow. So maybe
Mhm.
this side's yellow and this side's
Yeah,
orange,
like a
or
split
maybe
dye. Yeah.
yeah, or
Hmm.
maybe I do like all brown and then the tips are just orange and yellow. Like I've thought of changing it up, but right now I'm just rocking what I have.
Okay. It is very you. I was just curious because I think the first
Mm,
time I talked to you, God, 5 years ago, I think you just
yeah.
had the dark hair, and then obviously the orange has been a staple for a few years
Yeah,
now. I'm just trying to envision you in like different hair colors. Like I can totally
I
see you
know.
rocking like a green or something like that. But we'll see what happens, you know. That's the
Hmm.
beauty is you have the creative freedom to
Yeah.
do it, to do what you want. And
Hmm.
we'll see what happens. But before we let you go, we were mentioning the future, looking ahead now. I know you mentioned being going full time is one of your big goals. What are some of
Of
your
course.
other personal and professional goals for 2026?
Oh, I always try to give myself like realistic, smaller stepping stones.
Hmm.
So like last year it was to wrestle outside of Alberta more, which I definitely did. And I was like,
Yeah,
that's fantastic. This year I tried to make my goals a little more personal than wrestling. And to be honest, it was like seeing my family more, like going to movies more, making sure I'm connected to the other things that I'm in love with because I think having that separation is good. And also, like, I draw a lot of inspiration from those things, right? Like, I wouldn't have saw blades on my arms if I didn't listen to music.
yeah,
So I'm trying to kind of just like allow myself to like pull back in ways to get re-inspired. So I haven't made like a specific wrestling goal aside from to continue working outside of Alberta as much as I can. Of course, like everyone's dream is like, I want to go to WrestleMania and blah, blah, which is like great. Of course I do, but
yeah,
I just try to give myself like these little attainable goals. So I feel like I'm kind of going up that hill instead of like shooting for the stars.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think just like diving into what inspires me and like letting it kind of hold me captive for a little bit so I could keep bringing something new. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's good. Of course, we all have the big dreams, but it's kind of like
Hmm.
a step by step. As Miley Cyrus would say, it's all about the climb and you got to get
All about
there,
it.
one step at a time.
Yeah.
Sky is the limit though, but I feel like that's good because then your expectations are maybe a little bit lower and it feels like more of a win when you get this, oh, I got this little
Yeah.
thing, then you
Yeah.
get this other little thing, and I feel like that's a good mindset to have, one step
Yeah.
at a time, as Jordan Sparks would say. Um,
Yeah. And I
but
think like you have to take the wins as they come, right?
yeah,
And I think it's easy to like beat yourself up or compare yourself. And I think not allowing yourself to fall victim to that and giving yourself those little bits of hope, I think is vital. I think, especially right now in life, we all need a little bit of hope,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I do hope selfishly, you going out of Alberta leads you to New York, maybe, so I could see you wrestle.
Yeah,
Fingers
maybe.
crossed for that.
Yep.
Maybe. But before we let you go, please let the listeners know where they can find you online and support you.
Yes. Instagram is Lawless Ava. Twitter X is Lawless Ava with the second L's and I because I couldn't get the thing, but you could look me up. I'll be
Yeah.
there. And I might be starting a Twitch soon. I've been thinking about that because I play a
You
lot of
are a
Call of
gamer
Duty.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see. If so, that'll be Lawless Ava also.
Well, stay tuned. I know we were talking last time, and I think the time for that you're a gamer too. You got so many things going on
Contest.
for you. Yeah, keep yourself busy. Never
Yes,
never a dull day for Ava Lawless. Uh,
never.
thank you so much for joining me here again. It's been a pleasure as always.
Thank you, Ella. Thank you so much.